If you're Googling when do med school applications open and wondering why they make it so confusing to apply to medical school that you can't just find all this info in one clear place, then I got you. In this video, we're going to talk about when the applications open for all free services versus when you can actually submit them, because that's a different date depending on the service. So first things first is click the link below, download my free pre-med planner, because all your monthly to-dos and deadlines and dates that we're going to cover, links to the relevant resources, are in one place in that planner. So download that now, take notes as you watch this video, and let's get started. Year to year, the applications open around the same time. That doesn't really change, but the exact specific date, like whether it's the 28th or the 30th, that does change slightly year to year. So that's why the links in those planners will give you the place to look and know the exact date for the year you're looking for. But we'll talk about, year to year, the part that doesn't change when these all open. So let's start with Amcas. And for them, there's two different dates for open versus submission. Around May 1st, the first week of May, is when Amcas always opens. What this means is that you can start adding in your your essays. You can request, you can get the little letter ID for your letters of recommendation. You can enter biographic information, all the details. You can start entering things into the Amcas application first week of May. That's when it opens. But you can't submit it until the last week of May. So around the 28th or the 30th, it's always the last week of May, maybe the first couple days of June, that you're able to actually click submit on the Amcas application. Then when you do click submit, it goes into a verification process that might take anywhere from a day if you're like one of the first people, but just generally up to 4 to 6 weeks is how long it takes to get verified. After it's verified, then it can be sent to schools, but usually around the third week of June, like around June 25th, is the first day that those verified apps can actually be sent. And then, once they're verified after that date, they just get sent. But if your Amcas app is verified, let's say June 3rd, it's still not going to get sent to any MD schools until the 25th or around the third week of June towards the end. That's always the date for it actually getting sent. So that's Amcas. And then last thing about Amcas, that's for allopathic or MD schools. And then another application service is Aacomas, and that's for DO schools or osteopathic schools. And the dates there's actually only one date. Instead of having open versus you can submit, for Aacomas, it opens and you can submit it the first week of May. So around the 6th or something, first week of May. It's always one date instead of two, the other services. And it's always around the first week of May. So what this means is you can enter stuff, and the same day that you're entering stuff, you can click submit. I don't know if I'd recommend that because you want to make sure you don't have any typos, which I actually found 3 typos on my Aacomas application. Oh my gosh. So typos aren't the end of the world. I still got into all the DO schools I applied to. But double check, because your eyes, when you're staring at that screen in those essays, you've read over it 150 times by then, you're gonna miss those typos I clearly did, or I'm just an idiot. I don't know. So that is how it works for Aacomas. And then there's also not a separate date for when schools can start receiving your verified application. Once it's verified, then they start receiving it. So as far as does that mean I should then submit my app for Aacomas first week of May? So for me personally, I applied both MD and DO, and my kind of priority was the MD. So my goal was to submit my Amcas MD app within the first week of submission, or within the first week that you can submit it. I think that's a great goal. It's really good to apply early. Within the first week that you can, submit MD. So that's what I did. I ended up submitting it June 3rd, and it got verified June 21st. So that for the year that I applied was probably 3 days. I think it was 3 days after you were able to click submit is when I clicked submit and submitted it. Then, so on June 3rd, I submitted my MD app, and then within a week later, even though it had already been 4 or 5 weeks since I could have submitted my DO app, it wasn't until a week after submitting my MD app that I was like, okay, let me now shorten these extracurricular essays because there's only 600 characters instead of 700 for the Aacomas app, and do a little like slightly different things. I tweaked my personal statement. I just changed like one thing. So anyway, after June 3rd, it was like a handful of days later, then I submitted my DO app, and I don't like regret like not also submitting my DO app within the first few days of it opening, because I just don't think that it's super necessary. I think it's like, I don't know. In my mind, it's like higher priority to submit within the first week for MD than it is for DO. So that's what I did, and it worked great for me. And then lastly, there is Tmdsas or Tmdsas. Is there like no easy way to say it? Tmdsas. Okay, Tmdsas. That's the application service that you will be using if you are a Texas resident applying to Texas medical schools. So whether it's like, it could be an MD school, but if it's a Texas MD school, you'll be going through Tmdsas. And for them, they again have 2 different dates. So the first week of May and then the middle of May. So first week of May, it opens. Again, you can start entering all the essay info and details and everything about your life and requesting letters and getting the IDs. And then middle of May, like around May 15th, is when you can click submit on that application. As far as for Texas applications, do you need to submit like right away, like super soon? Like, can I wait till mid-June? So for Tmdsas, similar to Amcas, there's a lot of acronyms going on. I would suggest applying early. Like, you're still applying early for DO schools if you're doing it like making the first week of June like your goal. It's just like, you know, you could have done it 4 weeks sooner, and I think that's fine. Versus Amcas and Tmdsas, I would make it a goal to click submit within the first week of it opening, especially Tmdsas. I think there needs to be a better acronym, or like one that can like, you know, flow off the tongue a little better. Anyway, especially for them, I think they really operate on a very like early schedule. And I'm not going to go into the whole match process, but I would recommend that within the first week. So it doesn't need to be the first day. You don't want to miss those typos. You want to give yourself time. Quality is always better than rushing, but within the first week is a good goal. I would prioritize submitting that pretty early after you're able to click submit. All right, I hope you're super clear now on when med school applications open. If this video was helpful, be sure to subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.